I don't even know how I got here. I really told myself I wouldn't buy this, but I bought it anyways. Are you kidding me? I mean, look at these colors. They're just stunning. And the different textures really makes the money worth it. The other palettes that he has is, I would say, more makeup artist geared because you have one solely for mattes and then one with only shimmers. But this is also very beginner friendly because of these colors. They're not super intimidating. They would flatter a lot of skin tones. And you're not just paying for, now, like in the best way, you're not just paying for his name in sense of, oh my God, he's like a celebrity makeup artist. He knows color, he knows texture, he knows what'll look good on people and what people want. So you're paying for the creative process behind it and a luxurious experience while you're using it. So this is just stunning. So let's actually use it. I'm really interested to see if this will replace my Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 1 palette and if it's a better color story, because that palette is very warm, but I can confidently say that's my go-to favorite recommendation for anybody that wants to invest in a good palette because it has the creams in it as well. So it makes it look 10 times more timeless whenever you do your makeup with that palette. It's just wonderful. So I'm going to be keeping that in mind while I'm using this palette. I just prepped my skin with the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream, and before this cleansed it with a little bit of micellar water. And as that sinks into my skin, I'm just priming my eyelids with my go-to Tarte Shape Tape in the color. The fact that I had to look at that and it's been out for years to read the name is embarrassing. But this is the color Light Medium, 29N. As I was saying about the Patrick Ta palette, whenever I use it, my makeup always comes out good because the shadows are so blendable. They are really flattering on my skin tone, and the shimmers are not like obnoxious. They're like an expensive shimmer. On top of the creams that are included in it, it's very special. So that one is definitely on my top 3 palettes of all time. The other one is the Dose of Colors Desi X Katie, but that's not available anymore, so I can't even say that. Okay, so the first color that I'm gonna go in with is, to be quite honest with you, I am not a fan of this tone on my eyeballs. Never have been. I like real, like bright pinks, but like these types of natural pinks make my eyes look kind of sick. So I'm gonna stick more to these cool tone and neutral browns. I'm going to go in first with this one right here on a Morphe M574. And I'm going to start packing it on the inner corner of my eye. First of all, pigment. And the outer corner because I want to create a halo look. Take that same color mixed in with the color next to it to lighten it a bit on a MAC 224 and start diffusing that outwards. The eyeshadows seem to be blending very nicely. I'm in a pickle right now. Okay, I thought I was having a midlife crisis, but it was just my lighting because I was using natural lighting and the sun was going down, and I thought this eyeshadow, this eye was turning out way worse than this eye. But I turned on my actual studio lights and now they look even Steven. The only extra thing that I did was add his super black Master Pigment Pro pencil on the inner outer corner to deepen it. That's the one thing I would say is a downside, is that it doesn't have a super dark brown or black, which I mean makes sense because like, oh, then you can buy his other palette, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean? But you don't need this palette. However, if you're more of an everyday eyeshadow wearer and you don't need a black, then that's probably why. And this is an ethereal collection, so you want to look as angelic and light as possible, so I understand that. Now, because this is a halo eye as well, we're going to go in with one of the shimmers. Let's swatch them first because they look stunning. So this is the shimmer section. I believe this is a whole formula in itself. This is a regular shimmer that we see in multiple brands, and then this, I think this is the same as these ones. Beautiful. 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 Now, actually, now that I see it at the camera, they might look like they're all the same. However, the undertone is very different. There are more gold, champagne, rose, and then the taupish green color. They're beautiful, honestly. Very unique. So I'm actually going to wet my finger a little bit with my makeup wipe. You can even use a brush and some setting spray, but I wet my finger a little bit with the makeup wipe, and I'm going to pick up, let's see, which color should I use? I'm definitely not going to use the gold. I want to use the more champagne-y color right here, and mix it in a tiny bit with the dark green. And start patting it on the center of the lid, slightly upwards. That's beautiful. Wow, that's stunning. That's stunning. This is actually a Mario trick. He brings the shimmer directed at an angle towards the brow bone so that it really hits each area of the center. And this creates a really ethereal look. Wow. Beautiful. One more thing that I wanted to say about these colors in the palette is that you have an array of neutral, warm, and cool, which is amazing. And they're not the warm browns that look cheap or trendy, like when we look back at 2016 Morphe 350 palettes, like not like that. It's something that is very timeless and suits a ton of different skin tones as well as eye colors. So bravo. Wow. And the whole point about makeup palettes, and especially his brand, is not to create something innovative of color or packaging or product. It's about the consumer feeling their most beautiful and owning the product, knowing what they're doing, and enhancing their natural beauty, which I think is very beautiful. And he has really well accomplished that. Moving on to skin, this I will continue to use and repurchase forever, and it's one of my favorite primers over high-end primers as well. So my skin is already actually hydrated within to the pores with the Kiehl's, but this is really going to add the effect of glowiness without any shimmer. Oh, I actually shouldn't have done that. I don't like bringing it up underneath my eyes because it makes my concealer look cakey, but concentrating it here on the cheeks and on my chin, it works great. Oh, a thing that I wanted to add is that I religiously use this in my kit and in every single look that I do on myself as well. This is the Fenty Diamond Balm in How Many Carats. They have different colors, the gold and the rose gold as well. I don't really care for those ones. This is my favorite one, and I use this on either cool tone, neutral, or warm looks. It's a staple in my kit. Why did I bring this up? Because I think that whenever I recommend that to somebody, like an everyday consumer, they're like, okay, but why would I use that every day? Or I'm not going to spend that much money on one thing that I'm not going to be using every day. That's where this palette comes in, I feel like, because these are much more wearable colors, forgiving formula, and what was I going to add? Oh, perfect undertones for any look and any skin tone. Achieving the same look with this. Now I'm going in with my Maybelline Dewy and Smooth Fit Me Foundation in the shade 128 Warm Nude. It does look quite darker than my normal face. My face. What am I trying to say right now? Basically, my skin on my face is a lot redder than my neck, but as you can see, my neck is much warmer, so I like to match it to that. I usually like to stick to matte foundations when I'm using a beauty blender, but 99% of the time I'll just mix them. So first I'll apply it with a foundation brush to get the coverage, and then go over it with a beauty blender to achieve the dewy and healthy look. I learned this from a Painted by Spencer makeup video for dry skin because I got really frustrated one time when I was doing a client's makeup. She had beautiful skin, however, and I prepped it really well with certain products, moisturized it, let it sink in and everything. However, when I went in with the foundation, I used a brush, and it was a very dense brush. It was actually like this type of brush. Cosmetics, Love is a foundation brush. And I got really mad because my eye didn't see the dry flakes before applying the foundation, but as I was buffing the foundation in, they kept on resurfacing, and I was like, why is this happening? And then I learned that it is because the foundation brush, it's aggravating the skin. Micro exfoliation, he called it. So he recommended using a beauty blender when working on dry skin, even if it doesn't look like, whoa, she has dry skin. You never know what type of flakes or patches you have, so it's always really safe just to use a beauty blender. I'm using a Flower Beauty. These are such underrated brushes if you're looking for great brushes at the drugstore. Flower Beauty, any of the double-ended brushes, but this one right here, this is I think for eyeshadow, but I love using it for concealer. And there's another one that I cannot find right now that I use religiously in my kit. It is like a duo fiber tip, and it's great for concealer. Now I use this in every single makeup tutorial, and for good reason, because it's the best. Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Mocha. At first I did not like this formula because it was so dry, but I use it now from the back of my hand. And I'm going to press it from the top of the ear. And as I have less product on the brush, blend downwards and towards the center of the skin, the face. I'm going to take my beauty blender and coat it with the concealer as well. This is what I learned in his masterclass actually, which I had noticed was a problem in my makeup routine, but I didn't know why. And it was because, well, with each makeup application, I wash my beauty blender so it's fresh. And when I would go to blend out my concealer, first of all, I wasn't using the technique of letting it sit. And I would go in with a clean beauty blender, so it was just picking up product. And my brain at the time was thinking, oh, that's a good thing because you don't want it to look cakey. But it was just taking away the coverage. So coating it a little bit with the concealer first retains its coverage while still using the moisture to prevent cakiness. So now I'm just pressing in the concealer, and if you want, you can roll it to the other side that's actually clean and pick it up. But this way you are ensured a seamless blend and an even blend. This is the finished makeup look. Honestly, it's stunning. These eyeshadows, let me see if I can focus a little bit better. Yeah, like they really do look ethereal and angelic, like stunning. And they'll go with any sort of style makeup you want, whether that's everyday or a full glam like this. If you are the type of person that has never splurged on a palette and you're looking for a palette to invest in that'll last you a long time, that's not going to go in and out of style, it's not like a trendy palette just to get now and then it'll be weird in a couple months, this is the palette for you because it's a timeless color story, very flattering and very user-friendly because they're not overly pigmented and they're not sheer to where they don't work. I've said that also about my Patrick Ta palette. They are both equally good quality. Now, the Patrick Ta is warm tones only, so if you gravitate more towards those tones, go for that palette. And I also love the fact that that one has the creams in it because it really makes it look rich. This palette, however, they both see everything has its pros and cons, but this palette, these shimmers are really the focal point of it. And if you value more the wet look of these shimmers, then I would go for this one. Both of them are beautiful. This is beautiful. It works really well. Let me know if you want to see any more looks with me using this palette. Other than that, if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel down below and let me know what other types of looks or palettes, reviews you want to see. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!